Hello and welcome to the Swearing In Podcast. I am your host, Marty Smith. Today is a special episode of the podcast. Yesterday, on October 28th, we lost a brother in service. Army Sergeant Joe Guagno passed away in the hospital at 75 years old. Joe was born in 1947. He attended Most Holy Trinity High School in Brooklyn, New York. In 1964, he swore into the Army at just 17 years old, and his MOS was 11 Bravo Infantry. He did his basic training and AIT at Fort Gordon, Georgia. His first assignment was to Ft.Wainwright, Alaska, as part of the 4th Battalion, 9th Infantry Division. Later in the year, his unit was transferred to Hawaii and became part of the 25th Infantry Division. After jungle training at Schofield barracks, he was sent to Vietnam in 1966. Joe became a tunnel rat and instructor on the M60 machine gun. He was wounded towards the end of his tour, but successfully completed his 12 months of wartime service. After being flown back to the States, Sergeant Guagno exited the military in 1968. He earned a Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and Combat Infantryman's badge. Sergeant Guagno's interview was originally aired in February 2021. I have edited the original version and present it to you today in honor of Joe. Now let's get on with his interview.
All right, today I'm sitting here with Joe Guagno, former E4, E5, possibly E6?
E5.
E5 for 11 Bravo out of the United States Army, and he is a Vietnam combat veteran. Thanks for taking the time, Joe. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Because you joined at 17, right?
Yeah. Yes.
In what year? 63?
In 64.
64. Where were you growing up? Where'd you go to high school?
Oh, I went to high school in Brooklyn, New York. Most
really?
Holy Trinity was my high school.
Was it a Catholic school?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. A little strict, huh?
Oh, yeah. I know what it is to be beat up.
All guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, that was all separated back then.
Yeah.
Did they have like a sister school, a female school that was in conjunction? No.
No.
Did they have they had all female high schools, though, right?
Oh, yeah, they did. But, we have to invade them to get to the ladies.
That's what the dance
I'd learn that
for,
later.
Right?
Never escape an invasion.
Very good.
But, I got out and had enough and did not want to go to college right away. Didn't know what I wanted to be, if anything, and joined the military. So anyway, I did my basic and AIT in Fort Gordon, Georgia. They put me in the infantry, of course.
What was basic back then? Was it 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
AIT was 3?
And AIT for me was 6 weeks also.
Oh, it was 6?
Yeah. Yeah. So I did all my training. And then I got my orders for Ft.Wainwright in Fairbanks, Alaska.
Yeah, that makes sense. We talked about that before.
And
Send 11 Bravo up to their snow.
I said, what is this? And I wanted to cry. I wanted to die. I wanted to go AWOL. So what the hell am I going to do in Alaska? So I got up there, and it was really, really depressing.
Was there a bunch of you who went from your AIT class?
Yeah. And, we were like, it's dark. It's, middle of the day. It's dark out. It's cold. It's frigid. Oh, man.
Right.
And there was a captain that greeted us. And we were all silent. And he was trying to, make light of everything. And he said, guys, loosen up. He says, the duty here is not that bad.
Oh.
So, all right, we'll see. Turns out that I loved Alaska.
Really?
And I loved the duty there.
Oh, no kidding.
I did. I really did. In winter, we played our winter war games and scenario of a war with Russia.
Oh,
getting in the Air Force, planes in the air and taking over the bases and, putting our mark on the Bering Strait.
This was 64.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we did that a few times a year, simulated war. You draw weapons, drew ammo, atropine syrettes, gas masks. I mean,
get all your vapor barrier stuff and all your winter. Oh, yeah.
Then right around the holidays, they stopped everybody's passes. They pulled everybody's leaves and so on, and ordered us all back to our respective companies.
Huh.
And we could only imagine what for. And it turned out that we were being ordered to Hawaii for our jungle training.
As a follow-on into...
But they did tell us Vietnam right away, because we weren't allowed to tell anyone.
Before we get to there, what division were you part of when you went up to Alaska?
I was the 4th of the 9th, 4th Battalion, 9th Infantry.
And they're at Fort Lewis now.
Yes, because when we left Alaska, they put us on a troop train from Fairbanks down to Anchorage, jumped on a military transport ship, the El Tinge, and stopped in Washington, where the guys from Fort Lewis, and they were the Wolfhounds, got on a ship with us, and we all went over together.
Oh, okay.
Did
you get reflagged? When did you get reflagged as a 25th?
In Hawaii.
Okay, so once you got there, they took all your patches away and said, put the electric strawberry on, and here you go.
Yep.
Huh.
But you wore your combat patch on your right shoulder, and whatever your old unit was on your left shoulder. So that's how you could tell who came from where.
Yeah.
So in Hawaii, our training was really extensive and really tough, very tough.
Up in the Kahukus, that orange dirt.
Yeah.
Red dirt.
And it was, escape and evasion, and it was just really tough. I mean, river crossings, the slide for life, scaling hills and rappelling hills, and
with all your equipment.
Yes, with all your equipment. And in fact, our company commander was an airborne ranger, Captain Howley. He went to Washington. Well, he wrote to Washington and said, our unit should become Rangers. The only thing that we had not done was jumped out of a plane. Okay, and if they wanted us to do that, to become Rangers, we were willing to do it.
Sure.
And they said no. The Rangers fought us.
Of course they did.
So we weren't allowed to wear a beret.
Because you didn't go to Dahlonega, because you didn't go to the formal school.
Yep. So that was a bummer. But at any rate, I knew I was as good as they were.
Did you ever jump?
No, never did.
Did you air assault? Did you rappel?
Oh, yeah.
Out of the helicopter?
Out of choppers, yeah, sure.
Did you get those wings?
No. The only ones who got those wings were First Cav. The only ones authorized. We were light infantry.
Even more reason to hate those guys.
Right? And they got them. And in the Nam... Okay, I'm going to throw a fact at you.
Yes, I want those.
Okay. Yes. We had the most casualties of any unit in Vietnam.
As a division or as your...
As a division. And we were in most of the campaigns. And had most of the battle streamers.
Really?
Yes. But the first cav are the ones who gets the wings. When I pointed out my belt buckle to you, the only ones in the military, any branch of the military,
that is fantastic.
Authorized, and those were issued to us, authorized to wear that belt buckle.
That is brilliant.
So,
you go from the land of the eternal day and freezing temperatures into the Kahukus.
When I left,
through
it was
everything
60 below zero in the Uke, and 85 maybe in Hawaii.
Go back to Alaska before we jump into the Hawaii thing. What was the duty there? Why did you love it? Why did you come to like it?
The enormity, the beauty of it.
I've heard that from other people. I've never been there myself, but I've heard some people. It's kind of awestruck when you see forever.
To walk in the bush, you had to have a 44 on your hip because it was wild.
Yeah.
Bear and I mean, we were on moose trails. Wow. And you don't realize how big a moose is, okay?
Sure.
Until one almost, blows you over. You hear it coming, broop, broop, broop. You know, Rocky, here comes Bullwinkle, right? And you jump off that trail.
Really?
Because your head is about equal with the lower part of his chest.
Unbelievable.
That's how big they
They're
are.
much taller than a horse, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
These are like 1,500, 1,600 pound animals.
Holy shit.
Okay? And they don't play.
Yeah.
At any rate, that showed the wildness of the place, which I really got into. I learned how to ski, and part of the duty there, because you had a ski parade, you had to be able to ski, cross-country ski.
That's not easy.
With full gear, full
That's
combat gear.
really not easy.
Not easy.
Did you hunt fish?
You had to be a resident. You had to be there for a year.
Oh, or else you couldn't get the...
Or you couldn't do it. And
that's too bad.
When I approached my year, is when they pulled us out and sent us to Hawaii for like almost 3 months, I think, 2.5 months for our jungle training.
Yeah.
And then on another ship to the Nam. But Alaska was really super great duty. The barracks were old Air Force barracks.
Okay.
So they weren't the typical Army open bay.
Yeah.
You know, and I was, I made E4 as soon as I got there, which was, I got my stripe prematurely. I was a squad leader in AIT.
What do you mean prematurely?
Well, you know.
I mean, like, what do they call that? Below the zone now? Or I think that's what they call it. You got promoted early.
I did. I got promoted early. In AIT, I was, you know, you wore the armband, acting corporal.
Right.
So I made.
That's when you make other people polish the floor.
Exactly. So I made E4. So I had my own cubicle. You know, I didn't. You know, it wasn't an open bay for me. Basically, I'm a fire team leader.
Yeah.
So I've got
3 or 4 guys.
I've got 5 guys.
Okay.
Total of 5.
Yeah.
Total of 5 guys. And they were on my side of the barrack. The other side of the barrack was another person's.
And then you all fell under an E5.
An E5.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Who fell under an E6.
Right.
And then the company commander.
Right.
Sometimes you had an E7.
Did you ever want to be a platoon sergeant? Did you ever see it? No?
No. The politics were...
Oh, really?
The politics, even back then, were like a bit much for me. Because I was kind of like... I did not like authority.
Yeah.
But I could deal with it.
An Italian from Brooklyn who doesn't like authority? How rare is that?
and it was... you know, if you give me an order and it sounds kosher, no problem. But you give me one where, you know, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
Okay, because the caliber of some of the E5s and E6s were a joke.
Of course.
And we shook them out when we were transferring or being shipped from Alaska to Hawaii.
Yeah.
How many of them sought early outs? How many of them wanted to be transferred? Okay, they were on Sam's dime, okay, for the peacetime army and the benefits.
But when the shit hit the fan.
Yeah, it was like they were, you know, heading for the hills.
Yeah.
So you lost respect for them right away.
Right, which is good.
Yes. Well, which is good. I had one E5 who hated me. This is when I got busted down. No, he was an E6. Excuse me.
Wait, what happened? What do you mean when you got busted down?
Well, I tell you, I was AWOL.
Oh, you mean towards the end? Okay, okay.
So now this is in the
that same damn E5.
It was an E6. I won't give his name, but he was a Southern gentleman with, I think, the education. He probably had an IQ of about 60. In one particular firefight, he's with his machine gunner, assistant gunner, and automatic rifleman. It was a squad, let's say.
Yeah.
Or a fire team, rather. A fire team. And he would not allow the M60 to open up because he didn't want to give away their position.
It's too late by that time.
We walked into an ambush. And he did not want to give away his position.
Oh, my God.
Okay? Chicken shit. Okay? He fell into barbed wire and wanted a Purple Heart for it.
So I guess it didn't shake out all those guys.
That's my boss up there. Okay? It's a picture of Jesus.
Yes.
So if I'm lying to you, he'll strike me dead.
Very good. Fair enough.
Okay. So if I'm dealing with intelligence, I will treat you with respect.
Sure.
And I'll honor your requests. If you give me an order to do something that is not right, it goes against my oath.
Right.
Okay, I'm not having it.
Yeah.
You tell me to lie about this, or I was ordered to take out a husband and wife. They had been shot up. The wife's jaw was shot out, and the husband's stomach was shot out. They were going to die. I was ordered to finish them off. Mercy, basically. And I said, I will not do it. I'm giving you an order. I don't care what you're giving me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah.
I walked away from it.
Oh, my God.
Told you I was clean.
That's a rarity. Or it seems like it's a rarity. Actually, it's probably not a rarity. But
The guys I hung with were respectful, and we watched each other and kept each other in check.
so you're back in Hawaii. And then, you guys know you were going?
Yes.
But at that
We
time...
knew in Alaska that we were going.
But at that time, the war wasn't that big, right? So you didn't, when you joined, you didn't think, oh, I may
Never
have to
heard of
go
no.
over to Vietnam.
Never heard of
Because
none.
at early 60s, there was no press on it.
No.
There was no nothing, right? Hell, you're just coming off of...
You had advisors there.
You're just coming off of Kennedy's assassination, right? So you were in high school when Kennedy
Yes.
got assassinated. How did that hit you? Was it...
The assassination, it did hit me because I've always had a political nature, and I saw Kennedy as one of the rare presidents who seemed honest on the surface, and was leading us, I felt, in the proper direction. Right.
And you don't have that much news. So,
Yeah, anything I knew was on the surface.
yeah.
Channel 7, ABC, CBS,
right,
whatever.
Right. But it still stopped you in your tracks, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah. It was like, because I'm a patriot, whoever did it, I didn't know really who did it.
Yeah.
Okay, they say this guy did it. Well, whatever. That's what you say. I don't necessarily believe it. But
Especially now.
to me, it was like a slap in the face when you do something against my country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and I take it personally, very personally.
Sure.
Like right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm dying, but if they came down my street, okay, the bad boys came down my street, or guys in the blue helmets, okay,
Right.
they come down my street, I'm going to open fire. I'll go out fighting because I don't have that fear anymore. What could frighten me? You can't frighten me anymore.
Yeah.
And that's not because I'm this brave person. But I've been frightened with my life for 365 days.
Wow. So you're there. When did, do you remember when they said like debarkation date or anything like that?
They gave us an approximate time,
Yeah.
a date. But again, they weren't sure like what ship was going to be available to us.
Right.
And that would determine, so it could have been a week or 2 weeks in the difference. But we knew, within a 2 or 3 week period when we would be going.
So they had you all billeted up at Schofield, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Schofield Barracks. Nice
Did you ever
place.
get down to see Honolulu or Waikiki?
Oh, hell yeah.
Did they ever give you time off?
Oh, yeah. You were off every day after work.
Oh, okay.
They gave us that latitude.
Okay.
Yeah, every day after work.
It's not a quick drive down that goddamn highway, but
Well, we'd get right on the bus, take us right into
right.
Honolulu, Hotel Street. And
for those of you listening who don't know Hotel Street, go look up Hotel Street. I tell you.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun there, and I was too young to drink, so
Did they have a drinking age back then?
I was too young to drink and too young to vote, believe that or not.
Could you drink on base?
No.
Oh, really?
I tried to buy beer, and they carded me on base. And they made me put the beer back.
I thought back then it was all 18 and it didn't really care. Wow.
states. It went by the state.
Yeah.
We're talking about 1965, 1966.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. I mean, again, I was not allowed. I was too young to vote and too young to drink. When I made it home, people were, yeah, come on, I'm going to buy you a drink. I'm sorry. I'm too young.
Right.
What do you mean you're too young? You just spent 3 years in the service. Yeah, I'm too young to drink.
Oh, Jesus.
Wasn't too young to carry a gun or kill.
Yeah, right. Well, you had some drinks in Vietnam. I suppose that was one good thing to go over there.
It was Article 15 offense.
Really?
You see, this is the part of Nam people don't know about. You see it on TV, and they're after the guys are wearing civvies or whatever, and they're in some downtown Ville, whatever, and they're with girls and drinking alcohol and having a good time. I don't know that Vietnam. I know Cu Chi, Vietnam, which was the Ville itself was an enemy Ville.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the Vietnam I know. No drinking. If you got caught with alcohol, with hard liquor, Article 15 offense.
Sure.
If they gave us 3.2 beer, and we got that maybe every 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah.
Okay, if that. If you got caught with anything, any contraband, you were in deep crap.
Yeah, that doesn't.
And that's no bullshit.
A lot of that history has been so whitewashed by movies and all that other stuff. I think Oliver Stone's Platoon is a good movie.
That was my unit.
Right.
25th.
But it's a good movie, but I think there's parts of it there that people try to say, oh, that was happening in every unit.
Right.
They were all getting high.
That was all Hollywood too.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that.
And I got high once. I got high once in the Nam. One time.
Yeah.
Grass. And I was so paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay, and I swore I would never do it again. And until I sobered up or straightened out, I probably walked the same area 100 times.
Did you?
Getting myself right. Because I was so paranoid, I said, they're going to hit us now.
Sure.
I'm high, and they're going to hit us, and I'm screwed, and oh my God. Okay, and it straightened me right out. Never did it again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Because that's part of and that's one of the reasons I want to talk with you. Is to get some of those stereotypes out.
You have heads here in the world. They were heads. They were heads in Nam, and they were heads here in the world, and they were heads before they went into the military. They got drafted back in those days.
Right.
So Sam didn't ask, "Are you an alcoholic? Are you a druggie?" He didn't much care. I need your body to go to Nam.
Well, that's where all those damn cadences came from, right? Go to war or go to jail, right?
That's right.
And that was the option.
Yes. Yeah.
Could you tell right away the guys who were drafted versus the guys who went and signed up on their own?
Yes. And now I'm going to go to the end of the story.
Okay.
I had 6 months left when I got out of Nam. They wanted me to extend. My CO wanted me to extend. He said, "Look," he says, "you have a profile. We can't send you out anymore."
Were they going to give you a bonus if you extend?
Yeah, they were going to give me a bonus.
Yeah.
And they were going to make me the bartender at the officers' club.
Oh, you're kidding.
Right? And I looked at him. It's Captain Torciano, an Italian boy from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He says, "Yeah." He says, "I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it." And I says, "No, man." I said, "I'm out of here." I said, I can't do this." So, at any rate, when I got...
How long did they want you to extend for?
4 months.
Okay. That seems an odd time.
But, we used to get mortared all the time because of where we were.
Yeah.
So here's Cu Chi, Mekong River. Here's Cambodia.
Yeah, you're right in
Russian
range of
artillery.
everything,
Boom, boom, all the time.
Huh.
Constant.
Why would you want to go through 4 more months?
Exactly.
Even
because
pouring drinks.
They can kill a cook or a medic as easily as they can kill a
Probably
bartender or an 11 Bravo.
Yeah.
So no, I'm out of here. So at any rate, sent me to California, to Fort Ord.
Okay.
Monterey.
Yeah.
And talk about all the hippie dippies there. That was during the Monterey Pop Festival. That
When
was
it
the
first started?
granddaddy. That was the granddaddy of all.
This is when you got back?
When I got back.
Okay.
Okay, and so I'm in Fort Ord, and they had us separated, veterans on this side and short timers on this side, and all the recruits on that side. Okay, and we would see them marching and whatever, and they'd all have peace signs on their helmets and
Really?
giving us the finger like "F you, baby killers." Suckers, and we had brawls. I mean, real brawls.
Yeah.
And they were looking to kick the crap out of us, and we were looking to kill them. See,
Yeah.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
Combat, non-combat. You want a street fight? We'll give you the street fight, but we're going to take it a little further than that. Because the only way you're not going to come back at me is I put you down permanently.
Well, how many hippies knew how to fight, right? I know there was a lot of them.
It was a bad scene, but they were GIs, and we used to look at ourselves and say, like we didn't believe in the war, okay, but we believed in each other.
Yeah. Well, going back, was it when you first got there, March or May of '66?
It was March or April
Okay.
of '66.
And so you're part of the 25th Infantry Division. Were you in?
We were the 25th when we got there.
Sorry.
We were it.
And you were in 3 Corps? Was it called Corps?
Yeah.
So you were in the 3 Corps area, which is Saigon, and that area, Iron Triangle. What was the Hobo Woods? Or Bobo Woods? What was it? What was it called?
Hobo Woods.
Hobo Woods.
Lobo Woods.
Yeah.
Boiloy, and Michelin rubber tree plantations.
Yeah, that old rubber plant, right?
Yeah.
God, that's fantastic. That's all in the documentary.
Yeah.
You were putting foot on the ground right where they were talking about. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Now, what was it? What was the story you told me? How you said you had your group of Italians, right? That you hung out with, or the captain designated you.
The little rascals.
The little rascals. That's right. Were they all guys that were from Brooklyn or from the neighborhood?
The Northeast.
Or just in general, they were all from the Northeast.
From the Northeast, from a couple from the Midwest, only a couple, and then a bunch from California. But we were all hip. We weren't farm boys with corn cobs sticking out of our ears. We're hip dudes. Talking a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And watched out for one another. So we kind of like gelled.
Sure.
See, and the difference again between, let's say, World War II and Korea is you had a line. Okay, here's the good guys, here's the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
So today, guys, we're going to fight, and we're up to this line here. So this is our territory.
Right.
Tomorrow we're going to fight, and we're going to go this further.
Yeah.
This is our territory. And then today you're going to fight here. And depending on how long the battle lasts, a day, 2 days, a week, whatever it is, pick up your dead, mop up the dead, whatever. Get in your chopper, and let's go over here and fight.
It was never about
3 weeks later,
ground,
let's go back over here because they built up again.
Right.
So you started to ask yourself, well, what are you kidding me or what?
It was never really about
Never about the
ground,
turf.
right?
Never.
It's crazy.
It was make believe get the turf.
Get the turf for a time,
Yes.
right? Almost every big battle over there that we fought, we abandoned it.
Yeah.
I was watching that documentary about Quezon. That was almost 3 months.
Well, I was just going to bring up the Marines. The Marines had a couple of, I forget how, maybe 3 bases up that way, near the DMZ. Any rate, the Marines held, here's their base camp, here's the DMZ. Okay. So they were on a DMZ, they're in their base camp, here's the DMZ. So they do their patrols around their base camp, for recon and so on. But they don't go out on any real big missions. They are homebodies.
Is that because they wanted to stay around those fire bases?
Yes.
Because they were all sprinkled up there in the north, right?
We, on the other hand, the infantry, had to go from over here to over here. Or Marines say there's a buildup. Okay, we'll go check it out. Okay, so that was what we did.
While the Marines stayed there.
Not taking anything away from them because
I know. It was a different
their asses were on the line.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really constantly get assaulted until the big assault.
Sure.
And their fire base or where their base camp was a piss poor location.
Really?
I don't know who the hell ever fucking thought of that. In any battle, you want the high ground. It's imperative.
Of course.
Okay? I can take, and this is proven time and time again, we could go out even company straight, 130 men, let's say, 100 men. And they say, okay, we need to get to the top of that hill, right? You could spend all day trying to get to the top of that hill and take 100 casualties. Mm-hmm. And when you get there, you find out that there were 10 guys. Okay, because they got the high ground. They're shooting downhill.
Sure.
They're rolling grenades down. They don't even have to throw. They don't have to do anything. Just stay where they are and give bursts every now and then. You're a dead man. You have no cover. You can't hide.
Right.
If you were out of artillery range, and we were many times, we were out of artillery range more than we were in. Okay, so if you were out of artillery range, anything was it past 20 miles? I think it was.
I think that's about right.
Sorry about that.
Well, the Air Force will take care of that, right?
You call for an airstrike, and there's crap going on where they're already, the birds are already going to different operations, okay? You take your turn.
If they have the ordnance after they did whatever they were doing before. Being air mobile, did you have a complement of gunships with you, or were your transports fitted?
No, all the we call them slicks.
Slicks meant no weapons on it. Right?
Well, just the two M60s.
Okay.
Those were mandatory. So you had two M60s and a gunner on each gun on the 60s, and then you had us. So if you're coming into a hot LZ, let's say, they're firing the 60s, like boom,
Sure.
boom, boom, right? Not necessarily at anything, just into the bush, into the trees, whatever it is. The guy sitting, the way you loaded a chopper, you had like 4 or 5 guys, I forget, across on the bench seat, like.
Okay.
And then I always took a door seat with legs hanging out.
Oh, yeah?
I wanted to, we're coming into a hot LZ. If I got to jump from 15 feet, I will do that.
Sure.
Okay? I want to be added as bird. So, anyway, the guys sitting in the open doorways, again, 2 on each side. So, an M60, I had my M79 and/or M16, and another guy with an M16. And especially like a 79 was cool because you come into it, if you're overhead and you're coming into heavy stuff, heavy foliage, you don't know where the shots are coming from. Yeah. You can't even see muzzle blasts. Okay, so you can, I think it sounds like it came from over there. Now, it sounds like it came from over there. You take your weapon and go bang, 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 bang. Your odds are 1,000,000 to 1 that you shot anything. Okay, with me, when I put a round out there, anything within 15 feet of where that round hit is dead. Anything within 20 feet is wounded, dead or wounded. So you put a couple of rounds out there with a 79, and that hot LZ all of a sudden becomes cool. Not cold, but cool.
Sure. Did you fast rope? Did you?
Only
rappel
twice.
out of this? Oh, really?
Only twice did we have to.
Really? Was that going into the canopy?
Yeah.
God, that triple canopy, I can't imagine.
Well, that's why they used dioxin on the foliage.
The foliage,
yeah, the Agent Orange. And us, yes. Well, yeah, it'll defoliate all the foliage, and it'll also poison the water and any humans that come in contact with it. But that's all right. Do it.
You said, I know you did a lot in Coochie, but you never really were in a base camp.
Well,
right?
Coochie was our base camp. That's where our base camp was.
Oh, okay. But you never spent much time in a base camp.
The problem, yeah, exactly. My time in the NAM, which was when they were doing the build-up, when Johnson was doing that build-up.
Right. Now, you got there in 66?
66, 67 is my tour.
Okay.
So it was either March or April of 66 is when I got
Yeah,
there.
and that was the build-up,
build-up.
towards the 500,000 or
Yeah.
whatever they eventually got to.
So here's the base camp, and after we dug out, we had to build our own bunkers and so on. And it's funny, we're all loading sandbags and building bunkers and bitching about it.
Yeah.
120 degrees heat, and humidity 100%. That swamp I told you about, smelling like you couldn't breathe.
That's right.
Okay, and every now and then you psst, psst, psst. And we
Really?
stopped like, what the hell is that? Thought maybe it was mosquitoes or something. We didn't know. And one of the NCOs, who was a Korean vet, he says, "You idiots, you're being shot at."
That's
I said, "You shit me?" He says, "Yeah, don't worry about it." He said, it's so far away, that all you're hearing is like, it was done without any accuracy. I mean, you couldn't hear the gun. You couldn't hear a weapon go off.
That's how far away.
That's how far away it was.
So they're just right at the end of their...
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
my
just
goodness.
psst, psst.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's funny.
45 days without a shower?
Was the longest. Was the longest. A shower, clean clothes. Sometimes you ran out of water.
How'd you keep your how'd you keep your feet from dry rotting?
Your feet were always wet.
Yeah.
You didn't even dare take your boots off when you were out there.
Really?
You never knew when you had to put them back on. And then you had snakes and centipedes, and everything out there was poisonous.
You said that swamp that you had to wade through.
Mm-hmm.
You would come out with leeches.
Oh, wholesale.
That's that fast. That's what
You
is
just had
amazing.
to enter. That swamp was probably from this railing to my TV.
Oh, jeez.
Okay,
20 feet, 30 feet, maybe.
thick as, I mean, you could cut the swamp with a knife. It's so disgusting. It like rotting jungle and feces, and so you put it all together, and it was just a sewer pit. And you went from this side to that side, and you came in, you had leeches all over you.
God,
And
I can't believe that.
everybody
fast.
had, you took your shirt off, and the guy behind you was pulling them off your back, and you're pulling the guy in front of you.
Did you maintain anybody you knew all the way from basic through Alaska all the way to Vietnam?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have some good friends that were?
Yeah.
What'd you guys do to make each other laugh? Or did you just laugh?
You laughed every day at whatever. I mean, it was
Did you have pranks?
on the way over.
Did you have any pranksters that you knew?
Any what?
Any pranksters? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There? Oh, yeah. Big
I mean,
time.
you're Brooklyn boys, right? Or New York guys, right?
New York, largely, yes. But on the way over, I remember the closer we got to the Nam, once we left Hawaii, the closer we got to the Nam, I'm looking out into the ocean and saying to myself, I wonder if I'll ever laugh for the next year.
Oh.
And I
interesting.
wonder if I'm going to live. I mean, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's happening.
That downtime's got to drive you crazy.
Yeah, definitely. And so once you get there and you're scared when you first get there, we called it shaky. Everybody's shaky. So after you're there a couple of days, a week, whatever,
Yeah.
you feel like, okay, so what? After you're there a month, it's like being home.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Now you're
so
used to
you start screwing with each other, or throwing a grenade, yell grenade, throw a grenade out into a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And you see, everybody, oh shit, everybody running which ways. Used to carry C4, and I always carried a block.
Yeah.
but not for explosives. I used to cook with it.
Really? No sterno available. You just
Take it. Now, don't forget, we used to have, all we had were sea rats. We didn't have any MREs.
Right.
So it was nothing but a can of crap.
It just steady burn?
Well, it was a fast, hot, really hot burn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could take your canteen cup, fill it half with water and to make coffee or Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
Take off a little ball of C4, roll it up in your hand, light it up. And by the time it went out, that was hot. And we had a couple of guys that had it. They couldn't go on, didn't want to go on.
Sure.
And used to take, two guys did this. One guy shot himself in the foot, but two guys took blasting caps from claymores.
Yeah.
Held it in the hand, hit him, lost some fingers.
But just to get out of there.
To get out, but they were sent back to do bad time. Military encampment, prison, for I don't know how long, and then they were discharged with a dishonorable. So
really?
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. You're not just getting out.
Yeah, you're getting out, but
You're going to jail first.
You're screwed. There's that scene in Platoon where he's examining that guy's feet.
Oh yeah.
He says,
yeah.
next time I catch you putting bug juice on your feet, would that make it so you couldn't walk?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it would. Just imagine your foot in a pail of water for a couple of days.
Yeah.
You take your foot out and it's all, the bottom of your foot is all like white and all lines and shriveled.
Sure.
That's what bug juice would do to your feet.
Oh, it would.
Yeah.
I guess those guys think of all the things, right? So you carried an M79, 45, and an M16.
And a 16.
Did you qualify with a 14 at basic?
Basic and AIT were M14s and the M14A2s, which were the autos.
Oh, okay.
And so when we were given those to test, we trained on them, and that's my qualification. In basic and AIT were on the 14s. Then when we were going to NAM, when they told us, all right, you guys are going over the big pond, they issued us the M16s. And then I was given a grenade launcher.
So they gave you the M16 in Hawaii.
Yeah.
First time you ever seen it.
Yeah, and we had to train on them and qualify with them, of course. But yeah, that's the first time we ever saw them. Was in Hawaii.
Did you shoot expert at basic?
M14 and M14?
Yeah.
I'm going to brag.
Yeah.
With the M14, I came in second or third in my battalion.
Wow. I thought you were going to say company, but you said battalion.
No, battalion. And with the M60 machine gun,
Yeah.
I tied for second with
Really?
somebody.
That's not easy. I know that's not an easy qualification.
Here's a bullet. Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Here's a bullet. Took me 2 shots. This is the first shot. You see that little nick?
Yeah.
That's the first shot. And I adjusted my sights. That's the second shot.
Ah.
That's with a 7mm Magnum.
Now we're looking at a quarter, and you can see a little half moon out of it for the first shot, and then a nice solid hole where you adjusted onto that thing. And they let you get. How did you put that out there to shoot at it, and they let you keep it? That's great.
Scotch tape, baby. Scotch tape's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, M60 qual is not easy.
And the way, like whenever you watch any of these movies on TV, guys with the machine guns, they're laying down, and they're in a prone, and the gun and the barrel is always tilted up slightly. You ever notice that? Well, do you know what that little slight tilt, even if it's a 1 degree tilt,
Sure.
okay, out at 100 yards, do you know what that is?
That's gotta
you
be
might as well
big.
be shooting the airplanes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when I used to try and train people, in the NAM I had to give, I don't know if I told you that, in the NAM I had to give courses on tunnel search.
Oh, you did?
Tunnel, yeah. Because I told you it was a rat for 3 months.
I was going to go into that, yeah.
Okay, yes. So any new guys coming in, I had to give them a talk on searching tunnels, what to look for, how to do it, blah, 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 blah. When you should go in, when you shouldn't go in. And any of the guys with machine guns, I used to tell them, look, this is how I qualified with the gun. I don't know what your qualification is, but respect my stripes. I'm telling you, okay, when you're using that gun, this is how I want you to shoot. Not this way. All right, because they got the butt is down on the ground, okay, and then they got their face on the stock looking through a sight, and instead of the gun, the butt being elevated slightly, they got it down on the ground, and they're shooting. So if in the jungle you could be shooting at 20, 30 feet,
right?
Okay, and the enemy is that close, even closer sometimes. So even at that rate, maybe you're shooting head high, but he's not standing up. He's in a freaking hole, a tunnel, a trench, or he's laying down flat. Yeah. What are you shooting? You're making a lot of noise and you think you're doing something. You didn't do shit.
Right.
Wasted a lot of ammunition, and there's no blood trails.
Huh. So, you going back into that, Cu Chi had that huge, we know now, had that huge tunnel complex underneath it.
Tunnels of Cu Chi, read the book.
That's right. And you volunteered to be a tunnel rat?
Actually, no.
Or you were voluntold?
I was voluntold the first time. Hey, go in there and see what's in there. Okay, I'm, stupid jerk. Maybe I'll come out with a sword or a gun, whatever. Right. Okay. Memorabilia. And I went in and went as far as I was going to go and came out. No, I didn't see anything up to this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I start coming up on holes. Hey,
now we just
Guagno, hey, Guagno. I'm running here, running over here. Whoa, guys.
You got other people.
So I did this. Well, I was all of 134 pounds when I was there.
Yeah.
So, and there were 100 pounds. So I just fit, tight fit, but I managed to get into the holes. That's why they called on me.
Yeah. No little bit of claustrophobia or nothing going through that sucker?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it now.
Yeah.
Now I've had MRIs done, laying down and
sure.
And I tell them, I used to do this like in Vietnam. I was a tunnel rat for a while. I'm not happy about being in this tunnel.
Yeah.
And they told me, well, you get a little anxious, just tap out.
Yeah,
okay.
They always say that. Yeah. Well, jeez. So, what'd you do that for? A couple months? Enough to where you could teach other people to do it?
Oh yeah, I did teach other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first thing I would, after the class, I would go like this, make sure like company commander or somebody wasn't standing around.
Yeah.
And tell them, best bet, don't go in.
Sure.
Take smoke or a grenade, throw it in the hole. And if you throw smoke in, because there were multiple entrances and exits to one tunnel.
Would it waft enough to you could see the other?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I say, now, just take a look. Oh, look at that. 50 yards down, throw purple smoke in or whatever.
Yeah.
50 yards down the road there, Yeah. You ever been in New York?
Sure.
You ever been in a subway system?
Briefly, yeah.
Okay, well, they said the tunnel system in the Nam was the equivalent of the New York City subway system.
Oh, God. Didn't they have portions of Ho Chi Minh Trail that were underground and big enough for trucks?
Yeah. They had hospitals underground, R&R centers underground.
I suppose when you get a rifle on your back told to dig, you can do wonders.
Well, they put everybody to work.
Yeah.
Kids, women.
Yeah.
Whatever. Everybody was part of the war effort.
Well, when that country has known war for as long as it has.
They started digging when the Chinese were there, then the Japanese, then the French.
That's right.
And then the Americans.
Duh. You went over, your tours were 12 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
The documentary was talking about 13 months tours.
Marines.
Oh, Marines were 13 months. Yeah.
Why? Why were the Marines 13 months? Because they had to be different from the Army. They had to be one up.
Oh, so the generals can do the arm flexing.
Any of the Marines in any of the groups that I belonged to back east, social clubs and so on.
Yeah.
We had members of every.
Would they brag about that? We didn't.
No, I was a Marine. And you were a Marine? You never wore around any shoe leather than them, did you? Because they used to stay in the freaking base camps. I said, you saw two women out there rubbing two sticks together. Yeah, here we come. They're mobile.
Yeah.
Come and check it out.
Good. I hope
I can go on forever with that shit.
Good. I hope I can find a Marine to interview here, and he can counter you back. So
they had it rough, especially in Way City.
Yeah, Way City was.
They had it rough. I'm not saying they had it easy.
Well, they retook that son of a bitch. So
yes.
Good on them.
Yeah. They had it tough.
Well, all y'all did. Sure,
Nobody had it easy. Nobody
had it easy.
Because
that's a
even a cook who came out, if we were out in a forward area, and they said, okay, you've been here 5 days without any real food, so we're going to give you hot chow today. So they come out with the canisters, hot chow.
Yeah.
And so you get the snipers open up, or you get hit. They hit your wire, or mortared, or whatever. Cooks are out there. Yeah. Cooks died. So who had it easy?
Nobody had it easy.
That's why I tell everybody, I don't care what your MOS was. It's irrelevant to me. You wore a uniform. You were boots on the ground, whether peacetime or not. What was it, Fort Hood, with all those guys that got killed?
Yes.
Okay? It's impossible. It's impossible to win a war like that because it's a war of attrition. And if you have 20 guys and they got 30, they win.
Yeah. When in your tour did you start feeling short? Or did you allow yourself to start feeling short? I know it's kind of like a feeling you don't want to think about, right? Because the more you think about it, the more anxious you're going to get.
When I had like 60 days left,
okay,
I started to make my short timer stick.
What's the short timer stick? I never heard of the short timer stick.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
So are you just counting the days off?
Yeah, and we would take a stick, whittle it out, make a, like that.
Okay, like a walking stick.
Like a walking stick.
Yeah.
And you had notches on it for days. So mine had 60 for days. Every day that went by, and at the end of that day I was alive, take my K-bar and hack off that day.
Okay.
So a short timer stick kept getting shorter.
Oh, I see.
Until you got nothing left.
But you got down to what, 11 or 30 days out?
Yeah.
And that was the ambush on the ambush, right? So you were saying that what were they running in the sampans, right? Was it NVA?
They were NVA and Kong.
Okay.
But they were running munitions and food.
That's what they were running in the
sampans.
Okay.
And so they got word, and probably from one of the South Vietnamese soldiers, the Yarvins. We hated them. The only ones we half respected were the ones in the Tiger fatigues, because they were supposed special forces.
Oh, okay.
So if we were told that we had to go out with a contingent of Tigers, all right.
So they were at least more competent, or at least willing to fight.
Willing to fight and would fight.
Yeah.
They wouldn't run.
Yeah.
We wouldn't run.
Sure.
And I'm not just saying that about an American. And I don't know about the other wars because I wasn't there to witness it. I witnessed it. I do know that in World War I and in World War II, hundreds of thousands of prisoners were taken on both ends. The good guys and the bad guys. Okay? And depending on whose side you were on, you were a good guy or a bad guy. In Vietnam, there were never any surrenders. Think about that for a second. You know you're going to be overrun. I mean, they're hitting your wire or they're hitting your position, okay? And it could have been 100 of them. For that matter, it could have been 1 million of them. It didn't matter. Mm-hmm. if it's you and 5 guys or 10 guys or 30 guys, you know, and you're getting hit with hundreds or thousands, okay, you know it's not going to turn out well. But you didn't pick up your shit and run. You held your position. You were all brothers. You held your position and you fought. And that's where I will tip my hat off to any Vietnam veteran, because he stood there and took the shit.
Yeah.
You may have crapped your pants. You didn't move.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell the guy next to you, you know, hey, I'm scared. I'm scared. It was not like that at all. And I swear to God, I swear on Jesus.
Yeah.
We never picked up and ran.
That's
true. And never put our hands up. Hey, I'm out of ammo. Out of ammo? Use your knife.
Yeah.
You got a bayonet? Use it. You know what they're going to do to you when they get you, right? Yes.
So they were running
food, ammo,
all through that same
grenades.
You guys found out about it. You were going to ambush them. They found out you were going to ambush them. They floated their empty boats back.
Yeah, they didn't know where.
Okay.
Okay. They didn't know where we were going to be.
For you guys.
Yeah. So they're in a jungle, right off the bank. Okay. And they're walking along with the sampans, but we don't know they're there. Of course, you know they're hidden.
Yeah.
And so it comes to this open area where we're going to hit them.
Huh.
And so, okay. And they hit us just as we were going to open up on them. They got us.
No
they
kidding.
opened up on us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clever.
They were smart people, and they knew their own backyard. You know, I mean, what chance if your house is all booby trapped? What chance do I have to come to your house and try to take you out? Not a great chance. Not a great chance. Okay, and that's how it was for us.
Yeah.
We were always in their backyard.
Yeah. So you're in this firefight. Your back is up against a tree, right?
Actually, my side.
Oh, your left side.
My left, yeah.
Leaned up against a tree, firing your M79.
Yep, firing a 79 at that point, trying to sink these boats, these sampans.
Yeah.
And then some of them came out of the wood line, and you know, guys with the RPGs and such to get clear shots. Opened up with machine gun fire, you know, the whole battle baloney. And when the one that got me, again, my side was to the tree. If I had been in front of that tree, it would have gotten my whole left side from head to toe. But the tree took the hit. And it was just out of kill range for me. Unless it had hit me in the head somewhere, I would have survived more of the blast. But the tree took the blast for me.
Yeah.
So it was only a few minutes after that everything stopped for a while. And that's when I put my back to the tree.
The firing stopped for a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just slid down the tree.
Yeah.
And took my canteen over my head, the wound, a drink. 2 medics came to me because the guys to my left, and there were 3 of them. There were 3 of them that were killed.
From that RPG?
From the RPG round.
Wow.
And so, I mean, they were dead, obviously.
Yeah.
So they didn't spend time there. Just took a tag. And then they came over to me and, you know, started working on me.
You initially thought you may have pinched your hand in that 79,
with the sights.
Right?
Yeah. With the way the sights were squared at
sights, right?
An iron base. Okay, wrapped around the barrel, and it was like this. The barrel goes through this pack, right?
Yeah.
But this is how it looked. So when you held it, this is what would always happen to you.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, here we go.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize it. And you never realize it unless you got unless you really got hit.
Okay.
Okay? I didn't realize it. So I'm loading this between my second and third round. So break it open, pull around out, throw another one in, close it up, and I look down, and the first thing I see is blood come out of little holes. I laugh because it reminds me of a garden hose. I tell you,
right.
But I look down at my hand, and I'm looking at this gaping hole and bone, and I'm not seeing any blood.
Huh.
And as soon as it dawned on me that I had been hit,
then it started.
Yeah, I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Just waiting for you to notice.
I guess.
Interesting.
I have no understanding of that.
Wow.
No understanding of that at all.
But then once you realize it was like, okay, I can bleed now. And bleed it did. Huh?
And it did. And that's when, like I slid myself down the tree and I'm saying to myself, like, don't go into shock. You're not hurt bad. A lot of guys will get like,
Oh, yeah.
When you see it's your own blood, So I'm trying to like tell myself this. It's a scratch. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they got you. They got you out of there. Where'd they take you?
25th Med Battalion.
Just back kilometers.
Back to our base camp.
Yeah.
And from there they flew me down to Saigon.
Okay.
To the big hospital down there, and they operated on me there.
Didn't get the shrapnel out right away, right?
They got the shrapnel out of a pier, and the piece that was in my back, but they couldn't get the one out of my hand out, and so they had to let it heal.
Yeah.
And I had to go back a month later, and that's the only reason I got CQ. Is because I couldn't hold a weapon.
Yeah, you were one-handed at that
point.
Mm-hmm. Play any ping pong when you were back there recovering? Isn't that what they always say y'all do? Go back and play ping pong?
We didn't have ping pong. We didn't have shit.
Really?
We had nothing.
Huh.
An EM club and an officers club. They had an officers club first. That was toward the end of my tour, and still had no EM club.
But you still weren't old enough to drink?
No. But in the Nam, it didn't matter.
Okay.
Back here in the States, you had to be 18
Yeah, right.
to vote and 18 to drink. No, you had to be 21. I'm sorry.
Vote, right?
You had to be 21 to drink and 21 to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I came back, a friend of mine, Phil Ferrara, was still there in country. His family owned Ferrara Pastries, real famous in the New York area.
Okay.
So me and another one of the vets went to see his family. Hey, Phil's doing all right, and blah blah blah. And Phil's brother said, "Come on, I want to buy you a drink over here." The local.
Yeah.
I looked at him. I said, "Sorry, I can't drink. I'm too young."
When did you get out? 67?
Mm-hmm.
Had you turned 21 yet?
No.
So your whole time from signing up at 17.
I was 20 years old when I got out.
And you did
after
your whole
3
gigs,
years.
All before 21. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was.
Unbelievable. Golly. That's amazing. So then when you finally got out of there, where'd they fly you to? Travis? Was it Travis Air Force Base?
Oakland Air Force Base.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I had to make my way. They gave me travel pay from Oakland to Monterey.
And that was
so like $30 or $40 in bus fare.
You want to get back home, right?
And I had to come all the way cross country back to New York.
Now, was that after you PCS'd?
No.
Or was that just
I still had 30 days to go. I'm sorry. I still had 6 months to go.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
But you did make it back to see your parents.
Yeah, I did.
What was the story about your mom and the liquor in the oven? I can't remember how you got around to that.
When I first got home, I didn't let anybody know I was coming. They figured I was going to be like a month later.
You just took the bus cross country? Or you flew?
I flew.
Okay.
I managed to get enough money from. I went standby.
Yeah.
Managed to get a couple of bucks from my friend. Hey, you got $5? So,
yeah.
So I got my money. But when I first came home, I told my family, please do not let anybody know I'm home. I need time to adjust. They didn't understand that. So the first night I'm home, now I don't have civvies. I'm in my uniform.
Oh.
Okay? And it was a snowstorm. It was April 15th when I got home because there was a freak snowstorm in New York.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody know I'm here, Mom, Dad, nobody, brother, sister. I just need time.
Yeah.
So they go tell my neighbor, who told the other neighbor, told my aunt across the street. Well, you know it. In my house, I got 4 couples, all related, uncles, aunts, that kind of crap.
Right.
And I had to excuse myself from the room that they were in, the living room, and went into the kitchen. I sat at the kitchen table by myself.
Yeah.
I didn't want any part of them, or I didn't want any part of anything right then. So somebody called me in, I don't know who. Hear my name. Come in here. So I go in, and this guy his name was Pete, a neighbor, looked at me and says, "Hey, did you ever kill any of them?"
Which is exactly what you didn't want to hear.
And now I've had people ask me that. Who found out that I was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Did you ever kill anybody? Did you ever kill any women? You think I'm kidding?
No.
I had one guy ask me if I ever killed a pregnant woman because they counted as 2.
Oh, God. I'm more amazed that somebody would ask that question.
And the
Because I don't know what you
caliber,
get out of that question.
the caliber of the people that would ask me, one should have known better, and the rest were just morons.
Yeah.
Those kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who maybe they got off on that kind of crap. I don't know. Maybe it was just curiosity, or maybe to look at me and.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Huh. So his wife, Sarah, sitting next to him, gives him this in the ribs, and I just turned around and went back into the kitchen.
Yeah.
So my old man, not a big drinker, basically beer, but he had liquor in the house. So I sorted out, and for the first couple of days, my mom had made some grub for me, and I couldn't eat it. The food was too rich.
Still.
And so I'm starting to drink. So the second or third day I'm home, I guess she was concerned,
Yeah.
So she hid the liquor in the oven. And my old man the next morning had to get up and go to work, so he's going to get up and make his breakfast. I don't know what he was making in the oven, but toast or whatever. He turns on the oven, and after a few minutes, boom, boom. He runs in there, and the booze, it was vodka and something else, maybe scotch, blew up in the freaking oven. Shit's on fire. And he's
Really? Got fire.
my mother, oh my God, I had the booze in there hidden from your son. Well, they don't want that. I didn't have any money. I couldn't go out and buy any.
That's right. That's right. Do you want to tell me the story right before you got out about your AWOL? Or not? Is that not a good story? It sounds like a great story.
No, actually, I went AWOL in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah?
We had to be back on the ship. We had to be back at Schofield.
What period of time was this?
This is before going to Nam.
Oh, okay.
So our jungle training is through. Tomorrow, we're going to Pearl to board the ships.
Okay.
So me and 2 of my friends said, screw them, man, we'll come back. We're going to party all freaking night. We'll be back for reveille. Well, they took a head count that night.
That night?
And 3 of us were missing.
Oh, no.
So here they are in Oahu, up and down the street in Jeeps, looking for us.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Oh,
and we're dodging them. We're hiding it behind
you could
cars. Yeah. And what the hell are we going to do now, man? We get caught now. We're screwed. We got to try and make it back.
Back up to Schofield? Or no, you guys were ready to board the ships, right?
They were ready to board the ship, not us.
Yeah, but I mean, you weren't. You didn't have to make it back to Schofield.
We were in cities. All our gear was in Schofield.
Oh, so you did have to get back up there.
So finally, after about a couple of hours, we started getting nervous.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's just give ourselves up.
Oh, okay.
So, one of the guys, I still can't whistle to this day, and guys whistles. They pull in, and there's MPs and our platoon sergeant. All right, getting Jeep. So we stand in front of the old man.
Yeah.
And the old man looks at the three of us. He had no use for one of the guys. One of the guys, his father was a colonel in the Army, or Air Force, in the Air Force. And he didn't like him. So he just ripped his stripes right off.
Oh, sure.
My friend Howie, he was an E4. They busted him down to E3.
Jeez.
And I was E5.
Oh, okay.
Busted me down to E4. Now I just made E5.
Oh, jeez.
Some of my uniforms didn't even have my stripes on.
Well, that saved you some sewing, I guess.
So here I am. You're an E4, boy. And the reason I don't bust you down further, they liked me, and I was a good soldier.
Yeah.
But, I wanted a party. I was young. He knew it. I was young. I mean, he knew me better than I knew me. And he tolerated me.
Yeah.
He says, leave your corporal. He says, and you're going to have to earn your stripes back. Yes, sir. So that one day, it cost me a stripe. And forget how much money they hit me for. Forget there was a fine involved, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when I...
Okay.
But so I'm a corporal in Nam when I'm starting to train people on, about the tunnels, giving them, classes about tunnels and the search, and talking to the kids with machine kids. I was 18, talking to these guys about machine guns.
Yeah.
That's how we looked at it. Isn't that funny? So I got my stripes back.
Yeah.
But it took.
Did you get them back while you were over there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They didn't have a choice, really. You start running out of NCOs, and none of them were extending.
They make you a squad leader?
Yeah. So I went from fire team leader when I got busted down to a squad leader. But then it also meant that I had to take out more patrols.
Yeah.
Which was really a pain in the ass because it was like if you were out in a fire base, you still had to run patrols. But when you're back in base camp, you're not running patrols. Somebody from your platoon is running a patrol every night.
Yeah.
And they originally went from 17-man patrols down to 11. Basically 2 squads. And they thought that was sufficient. But they wore us ragged. I mean, you humped all day. Now you have a night ambush patrol, so there's no rest.
Oh, jeez.
So now you got to go out there 100% alert. Now the company, where you are, the company is going to catch up with you that morning.
You're like bounding in front of them and that kind of thing?
So now you catch up to them. And what do you got to do? Now you got to hump with the company. Now the Army only has to give you 4 hours of sleep a day.
Right.
And it can be in 10-minute increments.
Right. It doesn't have to be continuous.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how they did it to us. You stayed awake.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't sleep. I don't know if Susan tells you. That's my bed right there, that chair.
Where were you at in San Francisco? Was that your last duty station?
Monterey was. Fort Ord. That was my last duty station.
Oh, that's beautiful, at least. Yeah. Was there a bunch of you guys that all were ETSing at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Within days.
Yeah.
So that's where I hooked up with a lot of California dudes, too.
Yeah.
So I made a lot of friends there. I was going to move there when I got out of the service. So I'd made enough friends. I liked it, and it was...
Yeah.
the drug culture, which was something that was new to me. And I was willing to try anything, I mean,
Sure.
I'm a kid. I don't know anything.
You just turned 21.
20. Well, no, actually, I turned 21 October 5th. So 17, 18, 19, 20. No, I got out when I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah, 20 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're prime for California, whatever it was.
I wanted to play the hippy-dippy weatherman, whatever. It was an experience. I'm sorry in a lot of aspects that I went through it, especially because of my health.
Sure.
But I'm happy that I went through it for other reasons. It woke me up to man's inhumanity to man, to injustice, how we view foreign nations and peoples, how we're so arrogant. It's just a matter of, I happen to be born here. I could have been born in Africa. I could have been born in Nam. I was just lucky. I was born here. So, yeah, I think everybody in this country has a silver spoon up their ass.
Comparably. Yeah.
Comparably?
Absolutely. The thing that will stick with me from talking with you is how you said that you and your friends came back clean. But not only did you come back clean, meaning you were honorable in some very
it's the one
inhumane times.
The one thing I will say about me and my friends, that's nothing. That's all man-made bullshit. It's decoration for the lifers. I can look at myself in the mirror.
That's right.
And know who I am. Know what I did under certain circumstances. I no longer have anything to prove to myself.
Of course, nor anybody else, because you've served your country. You volunteered your life to do it. You put your life in jeopardy to live up to that ideal, and I think that's, there's nothing else like that.
Well, understand something now. Before you pin Medal of Honor on me, I had to do what they told me.
Of course.
I had to go where they told me to go. Whether I believed in it or I didn't, it was irrelevant.
I understand.
I had to go. So that's another thing I'll tell people. Well, you volunteered for Nam, didn't you? No, I didn't volunteer for Nam. You think I'm, my whole unit was volunteered for Nam. I got to go with them,
You volunteered for service to your country.
That's right.
Your country decided that you went to
That's correct.
And that's debatable whether that was the right thing to do or not.
Well,
but on a personal level, you served that government with honor.
Definitely.
So I'm going to take a picture of your shadow box. I know what you think of it, but I think it's good to capture, especially that belt buckle. That's the best thing you got in that box. Right there. That and your unit citation.
Well, my belt buckle and my CIB.
Yeah?
Those are the two best things in there. CIB tells you that I was in combat.
Yes, it does.
So I didn't bullshit. I didn't come back with a whole lot of stories, or I'm not a wannabe.
Right.
So I don't walk around telling people, but if you ask me, I will tell you.
Yeah. Joe, I appreciate it. It's been a privilege to talk with you.
My pleasure.
As a last honor, I'd like to read from the second epistle to Timothy. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the course. I have kept the faith. For the rest, there is laid up for me a crown of justice, which the Lord, the last judge, will give to me in that day. Yet not to me only, but also to those who love his coming. To all of you out there, please keep Joe and his family in your prayers. Thank you for listening.